Hello, gamers, and welcome back to another episode of the Intentional Game Design Podcast, a podcast all about Minecraft. My name is Dark, and I am joined by my co-host, Mr. VidMC. How are you doing today, Vids?
Oh, I'm fantastic. Thanks for asking.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, last episode we were a little short on things to do, so we did the tier list episode. It was loads of fun. Go and check that out if you missed it. But today we're just going to be talking about the updates that have come out over the past couple of weeks, and there's a few little things to cover off, and one fairly big thing that's definitely worth sticking around for.
Definitely.
All right, do you want to kick us off, Vid? What were the first couple of things you missed?
Sure thing. So the last time we were talking about snapshots, we got all the way up to 25W19A, but we never talked about the last few leading up to the release of 1.21.6. So 25W20A, There's not a lot of stuff in this, but we did have the new music disc called Tears.
Yep, I've heard it.
I listened to.
It's banging. I like it.
Man, it's really good.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Yeah, it's a great addition to the game. Interesting how you get it, though. You get it by basically doing the exact same thing you would do for the Return to Sender advancement, where you get shot by a Ghast and then you reflect its fireball back at it and hit it, and if it dies, it drops the disc just every time.
Yeah, just gives you another reason to go to the Nether, I guess, which you don't often have. Yeah.
The funny thing is, I got it on our server accidentally. It was just one of these things where I was flying around the Nether and I landed to pick up, I don't know, some bones or something, and a Ghast shot me, turned around, reflected his fireball, dropped the disc. I'm like, oh, I guess I have that now.
Bonus.
So that's a good one.
Yeah, add it to the collection.
We also have saddles now being craftable.
That is cool. Saddles, because you could only find them before, and saddles are only useful early game. They're effectively useless.
Yeah.
Later on.
Literally day one on the server, right?
Yeah.
So,
and making them hard to get because they're so useful so early on didn't make any sense. I think.
No, it really didn't.
Just having a bit of leather, that's awesome.
I felt the exact same thing about bundles when they first released that recipe. That was supposed to be like, oh, this is great for early game, and then you had to get 6 rabbit hide or something, and it was like, what, are you kidding? No one's ever going to do this. And then they changed it to like 3 or 2 leather or something, and now it's super easy for bundles. And actually, I'm a fan of bundles now.
Yep.
So yeah, that's good.
I like these moves. Making early game stuff in general really good.
You're still going to need a bunch of leather. You still need 3 leather and 1 iron ingot. But iron, plentiful on day one if you just find a thing. And saddles, leather, traditionally harder to find, but they've upgraded some of the loot tables. Yeah, they've upgraded loot tables now in villages as well, so that you might find from 1 to 3 leather. So it's very possible that just in your first 5 minutes on the server or on a new world, you're going to be able to find leather and iron, craft a saddle, get yourself a horse, and be out there. So I see this actually becoming kind of the new meta. I feel like a lot of players are going to do this. At least I will. I know I will.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. So then we move on to the next snapshot. 25W21A, a couple of small things. Cloud patterns had a creeper face in them. I think the way the clouds, like the variation, they changed the noise pattern for them. We don't have any in this.
Yeah, exactly.
But they use it using a noise pattern to generate them. They just changed what that looks like, and so the distribution of clouds will appear a tiny bit different. And they added a little creeper face in there as a bit of a Easter egg, I guess.
An Easter egg, yeah, exactly. It's cool. I have yet to actually see it in game, but it's just mostly because I very rarely think of it. In fact, until very recently, I was actually playing with clouds off. But ever since we upgraded to 1.21.6 on our server, I'm kind of enjoying the clouds now. So I'm kind of liking them. I think they blend really well, especially with the new shader effects that have been added. We'll talk about that when we get one step further.
Cool.
25W21A also had the ability to heal and grow horses and mules and donkeys with carrots, which is a very minor thing, but I think a very overdue thing, because you could use golden carrots before and sugar, but you couldn't use regular carrots, which I always thought was
those
really
animals
weird.
all eat carrots in real life, so it makes sense. Why
Yeah,
not?
exactly.
It's silly that they couldn't.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, if they only do the same thing for apples, that would also make sense.
And hay, horses eat hay, right? Which is
and hay, right? Yeah. Feed them with a hay bale. Exactly. That's literally what they eat. So. And I know it's just a game, but like, why not add the extra realism? So.
All right. Then we came to the launch of 1.21.6.
Yeah, we had a bunch of pre-releases that were mostly just bug fixes, but of course, the big thing, the Happy Ghast.
Woohoo! Happy Ghasts are in the game.
Yeah, we have them in the game. I've now had a chance to play with them, and they're fun.
They're fun. They're more fun than I thought. We had a fun time the other day on the
really
server
slow.
with an episode I've yet to release. But we just did, messing around with them, did a bit of prankage, just experimenting with like what it's like to move mobs and move stuff around, and it's got more utility than I ever thought. And I've got one in my base, it's just sitting pretty at the moment.
Yeah.
And if I do any more sort of building high up inside my mountain, I'm probably going to use it.
Absolutely. I thought it was funny the other day when one of our players was building, and she built a big thing in the sky, like a big box. She was actually building a Happy Ghast for a Happy Ghast shop, and she left the legs off. She decided to do just the box first, and then she realized, wait, how am I going to get under to do the legs? And I said, well, why don't you use the Happy Ghast?
Yeah.
And she was like, oh yeah, of course. It's just like, just clued in kind of thing. So that was funny. I thought that was great.
And then shortly after that, we got a quick follow-up. There were some bug fixes that they needed to get out as a hot fix, but they also included a few other features. The 121.7.
Yeah, exactly. So we got the dog painting, so the good boy, I guess it's called, which was on Bedrock in the release of 1.21.6, I believe, but they forgot to put it in to the Java edition.
Okay.
So it got added. Yep. And then we also got the disc, the new disc.
Yes.
Have you heard the new disc?
I have heard it. Yes, it's not in game, but I heard it on YouTube, and it's the song.
Exactly.
It's a reimagined version of the Lava Chicken song from the movie, doing a bit of merch tie-in, and it's sort of got lyrics. It sounds like a villager singing it.
Yeah, it starts with like this 8-bit like do, 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 do. It's cool, and then about halfway through the song you get the from those villagers. So good.
Who knew villagers could sing so well? It's brilliant.
Yeah. Also, marks a precedent because this is the first time we ever had a music disc with quote unquote lyrics.
Exactly. Yeah. Never had a lyric as close to lyrics as this in a song before in the game.
Lyrics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting. All right. I think
that
covers all the details.
Pretty much covers all the Java stuff. Yeah. There's one though big thing that we need to talk about.
Oh yeah, it hasn't come to Java yet. In fact, there's not even a mention of a date of when it might come to Java yet.
No, I'm
even Bedrock
surprised.
Actually, there isn't a date at all. How would you
it's
just?
It's in the preview.
It is in the preview. Okay, right, fair enough. Copper Golems. We're talking about Copper Golems, of course. The long-forgotten mob votes reject from I don't know how long ago when allies were introduced that won the mob vote that time.
It wasn't the last one. It was the one before that.
Yeah, before they stopped doing them.
Mob vote. Yeah, they had the glare and they had something else.
They were all to do with like moving items around.
Maybe I don't know.
All three of them, weren't they? And the ally was the one that won. And I think the concept of what a Copper Golem was changed from the mob vote variant a little bit to what they have shown us today. But this is a little dude you bring into the world by placing a copper block and then a carved pumpkin on top. The way you would, carved pumpkins are always used for golems, for snow golems, for iron golems. So copper golems use them too, which is a really inexpensive recipe for this, but I guess it kind of makes sense. You can only make it so expensive if it's 2 blocks tall.
Exactly, yeah.
And out pops a copper golem along with a copper chest. At the same time.
Another really weird mechanic that they've added, different than we've ever seen before. You get the copper golem spawned with a copper chest, and they are tied together. So very cool.
Yeah. So you can have them all in all of the waxed and aged variants. So there's like 8 versions, 4 different colors, waxed and unwaxed, for the chests and the golems, and they will all naturally age just as copper does if it is unwaxed.
But you also can wax it and keep it locked into color, right?
Indeed you can.
I think even before we talk about the functionality of the Copper Golem, which is amazing, by the way, we need to talk about just the fact that we now have color chests.
I know.
This was on my wish list. I have wanted for many, many years variations of chest colors.
I thought they would always do the wood thing and give us like a different one for each wood type you use, like a lot like in Terra Firma Craft, and you get a whole bunch of different coloured wood chests.
Exactly. We have boats of every different variety.
Yes.
Who needs that? Nobody needs a boat that's every single different color. We could have had
No.
one color boat and everyone in the game would be happy.
Yep.
But we have one color chest and have since literally the first day of the first beta of Minecraft.
Yep.
Right? So,
yep.
we need more colors. And now we're going to have 5 or more if you count, barrels and ender chests as additional chest or storage type devices.
Mm-hmm.
But the 4 new ones, we've got, 8 new ones if you count the waxed variants. But just in terms of color, we now have the regular copper, we have the exposed, we have the weathered, and then we have the whatever the other one is that I'm forgetting. Oxidized. Yeah, the last one. So 5 different colors of chests. I think everyone is going to be using these when they get them, whether or not they go for the Copper Golem thing, just because it looks so good.
I agree. Yep. I think they changed the sound as well. It's a little noisier, I think, than the wooden chest.
Yeah.
It's like a more metally sound. It's a bit more annoying, but yeah.
Yeah, they'll probably change that. That's one of those things that like they want to do it, hard and loud right away so that people get used to the idea that there's a different thing in the game, but then they'll tone it down. It's kind of the same way they do with pistons and with everything else. They'll tone it down.
Yep, agreed.
And I'm sure there'll be resource packs and stuff available too for the early days when, if you want it quieter, you'll be able to find a data pack or a resource pack that'll be quieter copper chests.
Oh yeah,
that'll fix that.
So yeah, our little golems who come along with the chests, they do something pretty special. They seem to be like a sort of small scale storage system with a mob, is what it seems like. So
auto sorter,
whatever you put in a copper chest, a copper golem in range will go to that chest. It'll take an item out of it, and it'll look for somewhere to put it into a regular chest. If it finds an empty chest, it'll put it in there. Or if an existing item is already in a chest within range, and that range is 32 blocks, I think, it'll look and then it'll put it in there. So it basically sorts it. So if you have a whole bunch of chests around that they can explore with like one of each item in the game, it'll basically very slowly go and pick things up, 16 items at a time. It'll take like a quarter of a stack of stuff, and it'll carry it to the chest and find a place to put it if it can. That's really interesting.
Yeah, there are some limitations to that technically. The Copper Golem will actually only search up to 10 chests, and if it doesn't find what it's looking for in 10 chests, it'll just stop.
Yeah, but then it starts
then it'll
again.
Go back to those. Yeah, but it'll start again from where it's left off. Even if it's in the middle, it might start in the middle and go again. So what I'm saying is, if you had 50 chests around, there is no guarantee that in any reasonable amount of time, the Copper Golem will be able to find the correct chest to put your stuff in.
No.
If you only had 10 chests, then absolutely, it'll do it.
Yeah.
And it'll do it pretty consistently and pretty regularly. But if you had a bunch of chests, it would be a lot harder. You'd end up with times where the Copper Golem stalled and just waited because it couldn't find a chest.
Yeah.
But I mean, they always will, after waiting 7 seconds, they'll always start again and keep going. So, I mean, I guess it is possible that if with enough time, especially if you have like your base chunk loaded or something, maybe you could just let these guys go. Maybe you could have like 20 of them or something, and they'll just all run around and eventually find all the places to put your stuff.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the idea. It's fascinating. Yeah, really interesting mechanic. We've all there's quite a few people have made videos on it already using the Bedrock previews and like started to explore the limitations and come up with ways to confine them so that if you put them in like a one wide corridor and lay the floor with chests underneath them, like the order in which they explore the chests is kind of forced. They'll go through them one by one all the way to the end, through 10 of them, and then come back to the copper chest at the end. And you can sort of force their behavior in that way and manipulate how you want to use them to some extent, which is interesting.
Exactly.
But it does seem like you hit a limit pretty quick, it seems like, right? That you're going to, for the scale of storage that we have in our like mega bases on the server, probably not suitable, but maybe for like a starter house early game where you only have 10 or 20 chests actually in the world with everything you own in them. I had a similar amount of chests to that in my starter base on our server when we first got going. Like, it could be pretty suitable.
One thing I have seen pretty reliably working is having, like you said, 10 chests. So you put a copper chest down, and then you put 10 chests down, and the first 9 of them have items that you want to sort in them, and the 10th chest is empty. So the Copper Golem will start at the first chest and go through the first 9. If it doesn't find a matching item to the item it's holding, it can put it in the 10th chest, which hypothetically would be an empty chest. And that chest is then has a hopper that pulls out the items and goes into another copper chest with another copper golem to sort another 9 chests.
Exactly.
And you could daisy chain them in that way to make really as big a storage system as you want. It's just going to be slow.
It is going to be slow.
The nice thing is, it's almost like zero mechanical, like redstone parts, nothing like that. So there's nothing really hard about that idea. And I think it's going to open up the world of technical Minecraft to a lot more players, especially people who are not comfortable with redstone at all.
Yep.
This is something that they'll be like, oh, well, I understand how to make a copper golem do what I want it to do. And you might see designs from people who've never built redstone contraptions or technical Minecraft contraptions at all, who are suddenly taking a leap with something that they fully understand, are totally comfortable doing. And yeah, now suddenly they have an auto sorter in their base. And people go, oh, wow, I didn't know you were capable of doing an auto sorter. And they will be.
Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. Yeah. So those people who would never even think of building an auto sorter because of their fear of redstone or just lack of knowledge, and now they can have an auto sorter with just a copper block and a carved pumpkin, basically. It's incredible.
Exactly. Yeah.
Really, really interesting.
That's day one stuff, right?
Yeah.
You could spend 15 minutes in Minecraft. On your first day, you could get yourself iron tools. You could get yourself copper armor, because we have that now too. Coming in the new spreadsheets. Get yourself copper tools or copper armor. Get yourself a little bit more copper so you can make yourself some copper chests and some copper golems. And now you can start setting up your starter base, your starter house. Craft yourself a saddle. Go explore the world and really have everything you need in the first few minutes. It's really changed the early game, I think, which is it's really cool because it's been a long time, I think, since we had something that you could really use right on that first day or those first 5 or 10 minutes of playing in a new world.
Yeah, I love it. Because there's 2 things in Minecraft that are really painful. Managing items in storage and managing your own personal inventory. Just managing inventories in general in other containers or in your own inventory. Like those 2 things are 2 of the most painful parts of playing the game. And this, for the early game player, for 99% of players probably, this is going to be a good solution. It's going to be low costs, low effort, low knowledge needed, totally accessible. It's going to make... It's just another thing to stop people turning away from the game. Like, it's going to... A copper golem, 20 chests, or you could even do the extended thing like we just talked about and have 30-40 chests. That will get you a lot of items in the game that you could store in those. And it may it'll just extend how much people are willing to put into a world, how much time they're going to be spending in game before they do give up. Which most people end up doing. Most people do just start a world, they play for a little while, they sort of lose interest, maybe they hit like a brick wall, or maybe they get frustrated with certain elements of the game. One of those things might be trying to find where they put all their stuff, and they don't have an organized way of storing stuff. So now that can all be taken care of, and when they want to build their next little addition to their house, they know where to find birch planks or whatever it is they're going to be building with, because it's going to be in the place where the golem put it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I was just thinking to myself, I think in my storage system, like my mega base storage system this season, I only have 100 chests. Now they are auto sorted, but they're not multi sorted. They only have 1 item in them. Now I do kind of a hybrid storage system in my own use where, for example, I have 1 chest for wool, but I can only auto sort 1 colorful. So I auto sort the white. But then I have an overflow chest at the end, and any overflow I can just pick up and take and put in the chest with the rest of the wool. This would be a good opportunity for the copper golem, right? Because I can have my overflow chest be a copper chest, and then just let a copper golem come along and pick out those extra items and go find the chest that they belong in.
Interesting. Yeah.
So yeah,
Maybe we'll have utility for it as well. I was thinking a similar
yeah,
thing. I do have like a multi-sort of crazy system. It's very
yeah.
complex. It took a lot of effort to build, but it's pretty good. But it's it can't do non-stackables, and I'm thinking maybe I
Right.
can tag on to the end of it. Anything that doesn't fit in a space in the auto sorter goes into the like an overflow bulk at the end, similar to yours as you're describing. And
Yep.
all my unstackables will go in there, so I could maybe use that to have the golem sort out my unstackables. I have learned that obviously it can't if there's any damage, so like if you have a weapon or a tool and there's any durability
Yes.
difference, then it doesn't recognize them as the same thing, so it can't sort them.
So that's today.
Yeah, they may
though.
change that.
So let's remember that the allay has a very similar mechanism, right? Where if you give it a sword, it can recognize other swords and then bring them to you. When they first introduced the allay in snapshots, it could not differentiate in NBT data. If it didn't have the exact same amount of damage, then it was a different item. But they changed that functionality before the full release of the LA, and now it can do NBT. So now it'll throw you any sword, as long as it's the same kind of sword. Like I think like a diamond sword. Like if you give it a diamond sword and then throw a bunch of gold swords on the ground, it won't pick up the gold swords, but it will pick up any diamond sword, regardless of the NBT data or the damage.
So enchantments or damage, yeah.
I suspect they will do the same thing for the Copper Golem at some point, and if they do, that's game changing, right?
Yeah.
You've got a very important piece of the puzzle that has been missing for a long time, and I'm excited to see what happens with that.
Yeah, that is interesting. I'm wondering as well, like, I'm thinking like a farm situation. Could I use them in a farm? Could like I have like a farm auto shulker loading things, and when I get a full shulker of material from a farm, can I break it and they put it in a copper chest and they go and pick it up and put it somewhere? I don't know. Like if it was close enough to where I store this stuff, like I think they can travel like 32 blocks. So I could have a farm 32 blocks away from my like bulk storage system and have them just walk down a corridor from one end to the other and transport shulkers of material from my farm to my storage system. I don't know. Like there's other sort of ideas we could think about here.
That's a cool idea. The other nice thing about it, regardless of their utility, they're just going to bring so much life to bases now. And I think that's something that Mojang is really striving for in some of the latest versions of the game. Things like the Happy Ghasts, things like even llamas, if we go back a little bit.
All the new mob variants and them spawning in more biomes now. More life in the world.
I think that's what they want. I think they really want you to see your Minecraft world come alive. And this is a good example. Just look around. Like even in our set right here, there's nothing moving, right? It's all just static. Like even like the trees or the sugarcane, there's no sway in the bushes or anything like that. If there were just, more random mobs wandering around, or even intentionally placed mobs that could wander around, it would actually add life to the area.
Well, there will be sway in the video because I do this with complementary shaders, and it has a bit of sway on the grass.
Well, okay. In the vanilla game, then
the vanilla game it does.
Yeah, that's funny that you actually have to add a third party, mod in order to do that, right?
Exactly.
Because that's what we're after. We're after like what makes the game look better by providing motion.
That is exactly what I want to do with these Copper Golems in our world on the server, because I'm building this massive underground civilization, this city in a mountain, and I want these little guys walking around like dwarfs. I could even change their texture pack to look like dwarfs, and I'll put a copper chest in one room, and I'll put a regular chest in a room in a building next door, and just have the golems like walking from building to building basically and moving around, and then I'll just like use some redstone to pump the items back to the copper chest again on an infinite loop, and they'll just keep doing their thing, and I'll have a functioning city with like people walking around doing jobs and things. It's going to be cool.
If you put two copper chests side by side with two copper golems, will they each respect their own chest, or will they just look in any chest?
They'll look in any chest, any copper chest where there's items. They're not bound to the chest they're created with.
Because what I was thinking is it would be funny if you could, for example, put a copper chest in one room, and then a regular chest in the other room. So one copper golem would bring items and put it in that regular chest, but then have a hopper from that into another copper chest right beside it, so that you basically had like an infinite loop of 2 copper golems who were just moving items from one room to the other.
That might be doable. Might be
know,
doable.
it's like, yeah, you could probably still do it. I mean, you could definitely do it with one golem.
Pull it out of the chest, or lock the chest until there's been a bit of delay. Then the golem will walk back to his original chest, and the second golem in the other room will wait until that's happens, and then it might be still doable in some form. Yeah, but I think that's just going to bring some life to it. It's going to be great.
I was thinking you could probably just get away with having multiple golems just in that loop, so they would like every time they put an item into the empty chest, it would immediately go into the copper chest that was right beside it, and maybe it would just stand there, wait a second, and take the item right back out of that chest. Although, would it put it back in the same chest, or would it put it back in the chest in the other room? It would probably put it back in the chest it just came out of, to be honest. So,
yeah, maybe.
Yeah, you might have to do the thing where you filter it out into the other room with a hopper or a dropper line or something.
I'll play around with it once it's available to play with. I'm looking forward to having a bit of a fiddle with this stuff, because it does just sound fun. It sounds like there's a world of possibilities of things like early game players and late game players can do with this, and that's cool. We don't often get features that are quite so universally attractive to all player types, and I think this could be in some way.
Yeah, and also much easier to obtain early game versus something like an LA, for instance.
Yeah.
Like LAs, they have very specific spawning mechanics. You have to go to a woodland mansion to get an LA, right? And not a lot of players are going to, A, be willing to travel that far, or B, have the knowledge to travel to a woodland mansion to obtain an LA, right?
They can be like 10,000 blocks away, right? They can be.
That's what I'm saying. But like
pillage outposts, they can be there too.
Okay. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. But still, on day one, you're gonna go into a cave. You're gonna, right? Regardless of your skill level of Minecraft.
Copper's everywhere.
Literally,
so abundant.
Only thing you can do is walk into a cave, find yourself some copper, and make yourself a copper golem. Easy.
Cool. Okay, so that sounds like the Copper Golem and the Copper Chest is going to be a really great addition to the game. But it's not the only thing that we're getting with this update. They're doing other things with copper, as you already mentioned. We're getting copper armor and copper tools, which is interesting. And it kind of slots in between,
very interesting,
like stone and iron, right? Is that the idea?
Yeah, that's the idea. So you still are most likely, as an early game player, going to be making at least a wooden pickaxe to start. Then you'll be using that wooden pickaxe to mine yourself a few pieces of stone to get cobblestone so that you can make a stone pickaxe. Next, instead of going straight to iron, you're going to go mine copper. Because copper is way more abundant than iron, and honestly way less useful than iron as well in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
So one of the things you'll probably want to do, instead of mining, 27 pieces of iron for armor and then a whole bunch more for all of your sets of tools and everything, maybe you'll do some intermediaries. So you'll create some copper armor, which again, one piece of copper is going to translate to one copper ingot, which is going to be basically the same. So you'll need 27 ingots to make a full set of armor, I guess. And then tools as well. You can use 3 ingots to make a copper pickaxe, or 2 to make a sword, 3 to make an axe.
Same recipes.
That sort of stuff. So exactly all the same recipes, but with copper ingots.
It's less durable, so it won't last. It'll last longer than stone. Won't last as long as iron. Somewhere in between, which actually isn't a big delta. There's not a huge difference there, I don't think.
No.
Anyway, but it's also more enchantable. It can be enchanted in the way that stone can't be.
Yeah. Well, there's no stone armor, but but this is better enchants than leather armor, I think, but not as good as iron or diamond. And then for the tools, better enchants than stone, but not as good as iron or diamond. That's for people who who are able to do the enchanting. Again, we're talking about like first day of playing, right? Because you're not going to be able to mine obsidian.
Within your first hour.
Which means you're not going to be able to get an enchanting table right away.
No.
Unless you're playing on a server where someone already has an enchanting table or something.
That's a good question, actually, because you can't. There's certain things you can't mine with stone. You can, like diamonds.
That's right.
If you find diamond ore, you can't mine it with stone. You need iron to mine it. Can copper mine diamonds?
Copper cannot mine diamonds. So they've actually limited what you can mine with copper to pretty much the same things that you can mine with stone.
Oh, that's kind of sucks. I would probably change that.
It does suck in that regard.
Yeah.
You're still going to need the iron pickaxe. Like that's, I think, the big one. But in terms of like chopping wood, like having a copper axe, easy. In terms of a sword, copper sword is going to be way better than a stone sword for early game. It's something that people are probably going to go for. Shovel, the same thing. You're going to get a little bit of a speed up as well for using those tools versus using stone. And again, if you're trying to save iron, which a lot of people are trying to save iron because they want to have, let's say, a day one farm of some sort where they need a hopper, or maybe you need shears. There's no copper shears. Maybe you need a bucket. There's no copper bucket. So you need that iron for the very important things that are early game that are still going to need that iron.
Yeah.
But I know I think I'm going to do the same progression that I always do with the wood to stone to iron for my pickaxe. But for armor, that's where I think it might be a game changer because it's pretty hard, not very hard, but it's a challenge to get yourself enough iron early game to armor up.
Yeah, you have to do like a serious caving session, which is dangerous, or you need to get like an early game iron farm or something, which is effort.
Exactly. Especially since copper, correct me if I'm wrong here, but even with no enchants on your tool, can you still get multiple copper from a single copper ore, or is it limited to one?
No, I think I to be honest, I it's been so long since I mined copper, I can't remember.
Exactly.
But I actually
copper, it's funny, more. Copper is very useless right now in the game still.
Yeah,
but
you get so much of it because you don't just get one ore from mining the block.
Yeah.
You do get multiple.
I think that's it exactly.
Regardless of whether you use fortune or not, fortune just gets you even more.
Exactly.
Like it's a lot like lapis, you get lots of it. Not as abundant.
Exactly.
You don't get as much as you do with lapis, but you get more than you do with iron for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the new meta then is going to be get your wooden pickaxe, get your stone pickaxe, get your copper pickaxe, and then go crazy mining copper because 10 pieces of copper, 10 copper ore might get you 30 copper that you can use for iron armor, right? Okay, so again, this is the first 5-10 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
You're already going to be fully armored without worrying about it. It's, get yourself that shelter, get yourself that early game food, find a bed, and then make copper tools or make copper armor at the very least. Because then you're at least somewhat safe.
I thought this was going to be way more useless than I thought it was. Like, but you've convinced me. Like, I think I agree that the pick, yes, and but you chop down a lot of wood in the early game, and just like you burn through a lot of axes. If you burn through all of your iron just through axes, which has happened to me in the past, like you just end up spending all of your iron on axes. You could just do that with copper because it's going to be way, way more abundant. Then that's a better option. Yeah.
Yeah, and it does make you wonder if you could get fortune on a copper pick as well, and then just blast through getting even more copper. And even if you can, again, that's get your first 3 iron ingots, make yourself the iron pickaxe, but just the pickaxe, not the shovel, not the axe, not the sword. Leave all that stuff copper.
Yeah.
Just focus on the pick, enchant it as soon as you can, and then go crazy.
Nice.
Go crazy with your copper.
And of course the armor. The armor does the armor oxidize? It doesn't, right?
It actually does. So that's interesting you said that because the longer you wear your armor, the armor will actually oxidize, but it's not going to change any of the functionality of the armor, which is really cool. So even if you get slightly weather armor, it's just going to look like you've used it a lot more. Plus, just like everything, if you can collect wax, You can wax your armor and keep it at a certain stage. So if you
That might look pretty
having
cool.
that bright orange armor, I know a certain orange guy on our server who's probably really gonna be interested in having bright orange armor, right? You can wax it, keep your orange armor forever.
I like the idea of having oxidized. Like, I think that'll look really
that's
cool.
what I was
think the
thinking.
middle
The
states will
green
look a
armor?
little bit like a bit knackered. They'll look a bit too aged. maybe.
Yeah,
But like green is cool. Like wearing green armor
it'd
and
be
then
really interesting.
having an enchantment glint on top of that could be really cool.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what it looks like having full green, like oxidized armor.
Yeah.
With the enchantment, and then enchanting it up to full. So like protection
I was just thinking that
for,
once you put protection 4, mending and breaking on there,
Oh,
like
you're set.
you're not going to
You're
know the
set.
difference between that and,
Yep.
and most of the time and diamond probably because it's going to be so good.
I know players who play in full chainmail because it provides pretty much the same level of protection as iron armor does.
Yeah.
But once you get the protections and everything on there, it's just as good as any other armor, and it looks good for them.
Yeah.
And this could be another way that people, use armor to basically make themselves give themselves a defined look.
Yeah, I thought this was actually a bit naff, but you've convinced me it's pretty good. So yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot more players wearing copper. Let's put it that way. Than we ever did seeing iron or nothing for that matter.
Yeah, like armor is interesting. It's a way of personalizing, and they've got the templates, which you know, people have got their thing. But again, that's a later game thing to collect them all and do your thing with them. But this allows early game people to differentiate more, and not everyone is just walking around wearing the same iron armor, which usually happens early game. And iron armor is so monotonous in its color. It's just like mostly silvery white, right? And it just if everyone's wearing the same thing, it's so overpowering because it's such a high contrast. Every player looks the same, like it really does. So this is just gonna make multiplayer scenarios a lot better because it's introducing more colors and easy early game stuff to get to differentiate and own for yourself. I love it.
It's interesting because I think Mojang intended people to use leather armor, and you have the ability to dye leather armor.
Dyes are difficult.
But in practice, like who uses leather armor?
No one.
Like have you ever in a game used leather armor? And I'm talking outside of mini games because I know like there are certain mini games that you get leather armor.
I don't think I have ever used it. It's so poor. No. You may as well, and you look poor wearing it.
Nothing.
It looks terrible.
Yep.
Not only does it look terrible, it barely provides any protection. You may as well just not wear it at all and wait till you get iron. But now you've got to need something a bit easier. You can get sooner. So
exactly. And it's funny because the confidence level goes way up with players getting iron armor as well. So I think that same thing, at least I hope that same thing is going to happen with copper armor. Suddenly you'll feel like, oh, I have something now. It's not going to be as good as iron armor, but it's not going to be as bad as nothing.
Yeah.
Which is great.
And we had this discussion on our server Discord, and I think these changes Mojang are making for early game, like so many of the things we talked about since we started this podcast, have been really applicable to the early game player. And
definitely,
I think it's the right move because I think if Mojang did nothing in this game for the next 5 years, people like us would still be playing it. Because we love it.
Oh, absolutely.
Like these changes aren't for us. Like there's pretty much nothing they can do to turn us away. But the biggest problem that they have is that a lot of people dip in and out of it really infrequently, and these are early game players, and they hit walls or roadblocks or just lose interest because something became too monotonous or whatever it is. And all of these little things just remove small pieces of friction from that early game, which just means they're going to play that little bit longer and maybe get that little bit more hooked, and maybe this world will be the one where they take things further than they ever did, and that means they're probably more likely to come back again in the future. And I think it's a smart move for them to make because I think those addressing the needs of those types of users is going to get them the most bang for their buck out of their development.
I agree. I would like to add though that I think even if 95% of the updates were catered towards brand new players, it would be nice if once in a while they looked at the existing player base and went, you know what? Let's just address some of that low-hanging fruit.
They do occasionally.
We
got the crafter,
concrete slabs and stairs.
I'm sure they're on their list, but they just got to get around to it.
more blue blocks.
Yeah.
You know, things like that.
We got the crafter. That's not like a
more
gift
green.
or Cinemouse. I'm very happy for
Yeah,
that. But,
exactly.
yeah, we would all like quality of life things and more blocks and more palettes and more interesting stuff.
Yep.
Fix some of the fundamental,
Yep.
fix all the structures that nobody goes to because they're so dull and uninteresting
Exactly.
and unchanging. Put a bit more
Yep.
like discovery and reasons to go out into
Yep.
the world and explore. Keep doing it. And
Hashtag end update.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, look at the dimensions; they haven't changed in forever. Yeah, there's so much this, but they gotta keep stuff in the backlog, otherwise, you know,
Yeah.
they'll just run out of stuff
Exactly.
to do. So I think they're focusing in
Mhm.
the right area. I would say maybe the ratio at the moment is probably 95% new players,
Yeah.
early game players, 5% to like long term players. But yeah, somewhere in that range is probably correct. Maybe 10-90, maybe no more than 80-20. If they did any more than 80-20,
Exactly.
they're focusing in the wrong place. So they're in the right ballpark.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's interesting though that when you talk about the crafter, like how integrated is the crafter into your daily life now?
I use it every single time I'm on the server, more or less. It's like always doing something in the background. I've automated so much of stuff in my world. Every farm I have has it. It's incredible.
Yeah,
I love it. It's
so when
one
they
of the best
do
additions.
add something for us, they do add something for us, we really use it, right?
Yes.
So that's yes, that's what we do. We need more stuff like that. That's why I'm just gonna keep pressing.
I don't,
I
if
know.
we just control our expectations, once every year or two, we'll get something amazing like that. We just got to be patient.
Yeah.
That's all. But in the meantime, these are cool stuff, and I think we will benefit from some of these things they're adding, even if
Of
it's
course.
like the Golem is cool. It's interesting. Even the Happy Ghasts, we've both admitted we found some. We were both a little skeptical about whether we'd actually use it, and I'm feeling a lot more positive about that as well. So it's cool.
Yeah. We'll see if long term if the novelty wears off, but I don't know. Maybe we've got a place for the Happy Ghast and the Copper Golem. I'm excited for the Copper Golem.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
can't wait for it. So when it comes out, we'll report back and give our thoughts once we've had a chance to play with it and it's in Java.
Yeah.
All right. Well, until then, I think that's it for today. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, everyone. If you got any opinions or ideas about what golems could be used for, then let us know in the comments. And go check out our past episodes. We've got quite a few in the backlog now. Like I said at the beginning, last episode was kind of fun. We did something different, and we might try doing a few more things like that in the future too.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was fun. Thanks for joining us. Cheers, Vid. See you next time.
Yeah, thanks. See ya.
Bye.